Why is that plane so small?
It's a regular plane.
There's what? Probably 100 people in the crew?
No, you only travel. I think it's 53-man roster, and you only travel to 53 men on away games. Like, there's only 53 dudes on there.
Plus the coaches and the management and the staff and the owners and the...
I'd say the owners probably take their own.
Okay, well, owners might take their own. But there's all the coaches, their families, the medical staff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people on there, but, like, compared to a college...
But I'm saying if they take 53 people, there's at least 40 there's at least 40.
I'm sure there's, like, different parts of the plane. Like, you got, like, you got first class, you got...
Are we rolling?
Yeah, that's a good conversation.
It is.
Yeah.
The fuselage is smaller than I would have expected it to be.
Yeah, I mean...
A fuselage is the tube that the passengers sit in.
I'm going to fucking punch you. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Fully Unscripted. We apologize for not having an episode, was it 2 weeks ago? Something like that?
Last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, last week. Whatever it may be. Sorry, I'm not good at math. Dyslexic.
Math.
Yeah.
Last week, math.
Or thought process. CTE. Sorry. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. For all the 150 people or 14 people that watch this, we appreciate you guys. It was a wild week this past week for college football, for the NFL. You had some other stuff going on. We'll get down
Basketball.
to that. I was about to say we'll get into some basketball talk finally as well. But yeah, we got the Packers are dead. Kansas is finally bowl eligible for the first time since 2008. Tennessee got moved down to number 5 in the college football playoff, which I don't know how that happens, but we'll get to talk about that in a minute. Kentucky finally moved up to number 24 in the college football rankings. We'll actually talk about the actual top 4 here in a minute because I got some questions that need to be answered. Obviously, we don't have a college football playoff committee person here. Actually, we do. Barnhart. We could ask him, how in the hell does TCU get in there?
That's true. Forgot he was in there.
But here's my thing too. Like I was telling my buddy here, Tennessee would beat the brakes off of Michigan and TCU in my opinion. I think they're just too fast for them. Like the Big Ten in itself, like I've stated plenty of times before, like my style of play as a linebacker probably would have fit better in the Big Ten because I was a little slower, less athletic, but I could stop the run. Really wasn't good at the pass. And if you look traditionally across the Big Ten, I mean, that's what they are. I mean, they're just, big, strong, kind of stiff dudes, except for your running backs and wide receivers and things like that. But from a defensive perspective, I just don't think that Michigan could keep up with Tennessee's fast-paced offense. I really don't. But we'll get down to the Tennessee game as well against Georgia. We'll talk about LSU. We'll talk about Kentucky against Missouri in the preview for Vandy coming up here as well. And then we'll get to basketball talk here in a second. But anyways, this podcast shall begin right about now. What's going on, dude?
What's going on, buddy?
A whole lot.
We haven't seen a whole lot of each other this past week. You've been out chasing tents down or chasing blinds down, blowing around in the wind down there.
Yeah. So actually, I was over at cameraman Smurf's house 2 or 3 days ago, and I was looking on my my trail camera and I was going through it. I was like, okay, yada yada yada. There's a couple of squirrels, a couple of deer, and then I noticed that my blind wasn't there. So I back up to the property that I hunt backs up to an outfitter. They back up right to me, and the farmer that I hunt with or hunt on his property has had some problems with him, in times past, and so we get them coming on our property every once in a while, and we have to set them straight. But I thought that they'd come over and took my blind. So when we went to Ruby's on Saturday, I was dead set on going up to him and being like, if I find out that you guys stole my blind, it's over for you, like right here. But anyways, it ended up not happening that way. We actually had a storm come in, and it was like 25, 30 mile an hour winds, and it was blowing about 1,000 yards down this hill, and I had to go down and grab it, pick it up, drag it back up, and it's actually out in the back of my truck right now.
I love that there's 25, 30 mile an hour winds, like a storm that we clearly felt that day, and your blind's gone, and you're like, who do I get to kill for this?
Well, I mean, knowing like what we knew, like we know that those guys would come on our property. Like we have trail cam pictures of them. So like, and truth be told, like when I killed my deer this year, and I gutted that thing. Guess where I dumped its guts?
I know. I already know that.
I dumped its guts right there on that, right when you turn in, guts spilled. Hopefully coyotes and everything else would come in there and, you know, kind of ruin those dudes' hunts. But anyways, so like I would actually go, like, if I'm going up there like on a weekend, especially on a weekend, like you pull up there, you see every single time out of state tags. Every single time you pull up there. So what does your boy do? Your boy finds his hardest, heaviest, heavy metal song he can find. Crank that son of a bitch up to 11 and just slowly cruise down through there.
Out of state tags, you mean like as in they got people coming in from...
Oh, yeah, they got people coming in from everywhere.
But is that what you're insinuating? Well,
I just know that people are going to be up there hunting in general.
Yeah.
So I'm just, you know, doing my part to try to, you know, literally, and I know if people are listening to this and don't know really the context of it, you're probably like, oh, this douchebag's trying to ruin people's hunts. If you knew the context of it, which I can't really get down into for legal reasons, but you would understand. So we're just trying to, like, preserve our deer here. We're trying to preserve, you know, everything that we got instead of it being taken and anything getting shot. So don't judge me too harshly. But yeah, it was, I actually need to go hunt this weekend because I'm running pretty low on deer steaks. But
you're going to try to go before the Vandy game? Isn't it a noon kickoff?
It's a noon kickoff. I might go Sunday, actually.
You can't turn it around that quick.
No, I'll probably end up going Sunday, to be quite honest with you. But I haven't had any movement there so far yet, but we'll see. Because I'm running low on deer steaks. And, you know, with everything that's coming to the horizon here pretty soon, I'm sure meat prices are going to go skyrocketing again. So I'd rather not pay $12 a pound for some ground beef when I can go out there and get the leanest protein there is, and wild, and, you know, have that for free.
You're a ground turkey guy though, right?
I mean, yeah, because like right now it's the cheapest you can get at Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like basic economics, you know. I'm sure. I mean, you're a money guy, so I'm sure
yeah.
you know that. I mean, hell, you're fixing soup every day.
I do love soup, man. I'm a soup guy. It's soup season now too.
It's not when it's 80 degrees outside.
That's true. I'm in shorts. I can't believe it feels this way. I mean, we say that every year though. It's Kentucky weather.
Well, it was like 65 degrees if I remember correctly last year in Christmas. But we do have a couple cold spurts here and there. Like Kentucky weather is probably the most like inconsistent weather.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. It's gonna be 29 Saturday. Saturday night, I think the low is 29. Yeah,
that's real good.
The low.
We need that bad. But anyways, enough about deer talk. Enough about deer hunting talk. Enough about that. Let's get down to some sports. Finally, Kentucky finally looked halfway decent on Saturday, I would say. I mean, it kind of, especially that first drive. Mm-hmm. That first drive when they came out, I actually had a tweet that I thought was pretty funny. I said, Kentucky fans after watching this first drive, and it was Will Smith from Bad Boys. That's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive.
That was good.
And then we go on not to score points for, you know, another, you know, 2 or 3 quarters or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it looked all right. I mean, you had Will Levis. He got sacked 4 times, though, in the first half. 6 times in general throughout the whole game, but 4 times in the first half. And it's not like we're playing Georgia yet. We were playing Missouri. No offense to Missouri, but you're not Georgia. You're not Ole Miss. You're not them. Hell, you're not even Kentucky. You can't even beat us, and we're fucking dog shit this year. But
are we?
Well, compared to, I wouldn't say dog shit. Let me take that back. Not dog shit. We are subpar.
How good is Georgia?
How good is Georgia? Mm-hmm. Well, they just literally annihilated the number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah, but 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Georgia, and you didn't think that they were worth the hype.
When did I say that?
Well, I'll find the clip.
Please, okay. Insert, if there is, insert replay, because I promise I did not say anything.
I will find the clip.
I said that there was probably I said we probably had a chance to beat Georgia.
Hang on, this isn't a call out. I'm just saying.
It definitely fucking feels like one.
I'm just saying. Do you think that I mean, other than that game, other than the Tennessee game, like let me put it this way: how much did you predict them by over Tennessee?
I mean, I thought that Tennessee was going to win that game just like everybody else did.
Okay, so but
then they came out and showed everybody that, you know, hey, we're still.
I agree, but I'm saying 2 or 3 weeks ago you said that Georgia would lose to Tennessee, and you stood by that the day of the game. So what? I mean, are you?
Well, hell, I mean, think about it. Everybody on College Game Day except Bear picked.
I'm not calling you out for it. I'm saying has Georgia taken a turn, obviously for the better, or
I think that here's my thing. I think that Georgia's always been there. I just think that nobody has seen what Tennessee has been able to do in so long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're the first in time. You're the one of the last in time of possession, but you're the first in scoring points.
So they're efficient.
Total offense and all that stuff. Yeah, they're very efficient. They're very fast. We didn't know. I mean, looking at it, talk about some of the guys that were breaking down this game on College Game Day. You know, they were talking about the Kent State game against Georgia, and they were talking about how Kent State came out in some funky, formations. A wide bunch out by the numbers, different things like that. I know you don't know what that is, but Tennessee does the same thing. They have motion to create eye candy. All that's different stuff that kind of similar, that's pretty similar to what Kent State did, and that gave Georgia a lot of trouble. But here's the thing about Georgia. They're still Georgia, and we needed to be reminded of it, is what I'm saying, is that everybody believed in the hype of Tennessee, and don't get me wrong, Tennessee, I still think should be in the top 4 of the college football playoff. I don't know how they're outside of number 5, to be quite honest with you, but we'll get down to that when we talk about the college.
It's not our fault that the best teams in the country in the SEC. You're gonna lose some games.
Yeah,
you're playing against the other.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was talking about last week with Ethan, was that you had the possibility of having 3 SEC teams in the college football playoff. Now that's not possible after LSU knocked off Alabama, which we will get into in a second as well. But you still got Georgia up at the top, and then you got Ohio State, then you got Michigan, you got TCU. And I know that if people have been listening to this podcast, you guys know that I'm not a big fan of the Big Ten. It's like 1960s football. Like all they do is literally line up, run, punt, run, punt, run, pass, screen, punt. I mean, that's literally all they do, except for the teams like Ohio State. Now you're looking at a team like Michigan. And just like I've said before, I still think that if today that Tennessee and Michigan played each other, or Tennessee, Michigan, and Ohio State, like Tennessee played both of them, I would still pick Tennessee to beat Ohio State and Michigan. TCU. Just because of the sheer fact alone that they have more athletes, they're bigger, faster, and stronger, all across the board, and they're just way too fast. Like even when we played Big Ten teams, and now given credit, we lost to Northwestern my sophomore year at the Music City Bowl, but it was just a bunch of stars that were, pretty unathletic, but still they had an efficient run game. At that time, we didn't have the defense to stop it because we weren't at that SEC level yet. To be quite honest with you, we were like a Conference USA level or something like that, or maybe even the ACC. Who knows? We weren't at the SEC level that we were my junior. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say my junior because my senior year, we had Lynn back there at quarterback. We didn't really have our whole, offensive line was just dogs. And everybody knew that what play was going to come, no matter what. It was either going to be
I knew what play was going to
power, it was going to be, a lead, it was going to be a zone, it was going to be something. But that offensive line up front, now that was the SEC offensive line. Like those dudes were maulers, like Drake Jackson, Logan Stenberg, Landon Young, Luke Fortner, Darian Kennard, like all those dudes that were rotating. I mean, you got those are out of the names that I just named. Luke Fortner, starting center for the Jaguars right now.
4 or 5 of them are in the league.
Darian Kennard plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Stenberg starting for the Lions. So those are 3 NFL linemen that you have right there. And hell, Drake was an All-American. Landon plays for the Saints, so that's 4. So that was a true offensive line in the SEC. And so now when you compare them to if we would have played and I still stick by this to this day, that if we would have played Ohio State, or if we would have played Michigan that year, my junior year, I would have pretty good odds against us, to be quite honest with you. I would think that we would end up winning those games. But back to what I'm saying about Tennessee, though, is that I just think they're far more athletic, they're far more faster, and I think that at the end of the day, they're just got that dog in them.
So,
no pun intended.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, real quick, just because you mentioned it, it's an educational moment for me and the audience. But when you say they got a bunch out by the numbers, is that like a 3-man stack receiving core out there?
Look at you. Yeah. It's a 3-man stack. That's all it is. Well, not like vertical. It's like a triangle. Staggered.
Yeah. And they're way out on the outside hash.
And they're way past the hash marks. They're out there below the numbers or on the numbers or whatnot. And usually, when you create a bunch set like that, it's usually in tight quarters, so it's usually not far off from the offensive line. And all they're doing is to condense you to space you out.
Yeah. We call that overloading in basketball.
Yeah, same thing. So all they're doing is then there's only so many routes that can come out of that. You got one guy breaking out, you got one guy breaking in, you got one guy going vertical.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about just a trick and dick the eyes of the defensive linebackers, corners, and safeties to say, okay, who's got who? And so 9 times out of 10, we would call that a box. We would look across, hey, let's box this shit. So that means whoever comes on the inside first, the backer's got him. Whoever goes vertical, the safety's got him. Whoever goes out, the corner's got him.
So Georgia just did a fantastic job of defending it.
Georgia did a fantastic job of just being who they are and just being fucking maulers. That Georgia defense, you have to give credit to that Georgia defense, man, because even when I went down there last year to watch them play UK, like obviously, I want UK to win.
Oh, you went to Athens last year?
Oh, dude.
Oof.
Can we talk about our time in Athens? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, cameraman Smurf. Yes, we can.
Dude,
let me tell you something about Athens, dude. Wait, let me get to the Georgia defense, then we'll get about Athens. But we went down there, and obviously, I want UK to win, but I'm a football fan first.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who's
Same.
playing, like it could be, my grandmother could be playing for, whoever. And if the other team has a performance like that Georgia defense had that day, I'd be like, hey, grandma, you just got knocked the F out. But, that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was every snap. There was a sea of red helmets around that football. No different than Saturday. Now, when you talk about the game against Tennessee this past weekend, I thought from the start of it, I thought Tennessee was going to have a pretty damn good day because of the first drive fumble by Georgia. And, they got them hype, got them going. But then, I saw Stetson Bennett come off from the sideline and was like, you know what? It's all good. Thumbs up. He's like, don't worry about it. We're good. And that defense just showed out. Why are you taking a picture of me?
I'm doing a little video.
That's what Brandon's job's for. And that's what his job's for.
Go ahead.
We're here to talk.
Go ahead.
Anyways, but that Georgia defense this week reminded me of the same thing. Was that you got a highly talented offense coming in like Tennessee. They got all this hype about them. Everybody's talking about them. And I just think that gave Georgia that fuel to be like, hey, we're still these motherfucking dogs, dude. Like we're still
I agree.
We are still him.
To be able, as a program to make a statement like that. I know obviously Georgia's still extremely talented. They're who they are, but I'm saying even as a program, like you have that reputation, you got to go out and be like, here's your reminder.
Yeah.
Just keep your place. Stay in your lane.
Know where you are, know your place. But dude, they sacked Hendon Hooker 6 times, 5 times in the second half alone. Stetson Bennett, thing about this was pretty funny. So Stetson Bennett, after he had a big play or he had a touchdown, he would turn around, he'd do this.
Yeah, because they got it. Yeah,
I didn't know what it was until the announcer said it was somebody actually leaked his phone number.
Yeah.
And Tennessee fans called him all throughout the night. And I think they said it was like 600, 700 phone calls.
Yep.
I could not imagine that.
That happened with DeMarcus Cousins.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, but that's got to be one of the hardest things to be able to do, to go on the road and run your mouth that way after they've been all up in your phone.
Oh, that would be the greatest,
just like the ultimate hush.
That'd be the greatest, suck it moment of all time.
We've talked about this before on this show, but I loved playing on the road. Obviously, I didn't play a lot, but
too.
It's one of the reasons JJ Redick's one of my favorite basketball players.
I love being the bad guy.
You say that, as a Kentucky fan and everybody wants to give you hell, but JJ Redick had the attitude that I would carry if I was, playing those kind of minutes and playing that role for a team. He'd go on the road and just thrived off that energy that they would bring, that hate. He'd just be like, okay,
I'm
that guy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Say goodnight to the bad guy.
And
everybody needs one. Everybody needs a villain.
Yeah. But Stetson played that role to perfection with the
oh yeah,
call me.
But it was beautiful though, because he ended up having, 2 touchdowns. He also ran for that one, which if you look at it by rule of definition was targeting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
is he that good?
Stetson Bennett?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, dude. That dude.
I know he's got
that
the
dude.
numbers,
Never. Here's the thing. That dude will never have to buy another beer.
No, never. No. I'm not quite.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
That he will after winning that national championship last year and then coming back and then doing all the stuff he's doing right now, probably going to win another national championship this year. That dude will never have to worry. Even if the NFL does not work out, let's say it doesn't. I hope to God it does. I hope he goes, and I hope he.
That's what I'm asking. Is it gonna translate?
He'll get a shot. I mean,
because you got to. You
look at a guy like Jake. You look at a guy like Jake Fromm.
Yeah,
that was there before him, and Jake's a good friend of mine. He was, in my opinion, probably the best quarterback in the SEC that we've seen in a long time, from a standpoint of being poised in the pocket, being a pro-style quarterback. Okay, he went to the NFL. Some things didn't shake. I mean, here's the thing: and I've told this to so many people. Obviously, I didn't even get a chance to go, but the NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're not a legit dog, you're out of there.
You got a short window, but also it's for guys like him. I'm not putting him in a box or Stetson in a box, but for guys like them, they need to be in the right situation.
Yeah,
right?
You got to
put the right pieces around them and everything.
It's all about the offensive concept. I mean, you look at it's even down to the college level. I mean, even look at Hendon Hooker. I mean, like what I said before, we played him at Virginia Tech. He was good, but he wasn't the Hendon Hooker that he is right now. Just because he got introduced to Josh Heupel and his offense and that offensive coordinator there. And completely new system, new scheme, new schematics, everything like that. And you see what's happening, having different athletes around him, like Cedric Tillman and different those guys around the corner. Who knows? Who knows what would have happened if he would have stayed at Virginia Tech? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
before we move on from Georgia, real quick, how much money would Jake Fromm's contract have been from State Farm if NIL was around?
Oh, dude, that would have been
the best
ridiculous
marketing campaign of all time.
Oh, dude.
Period.
I think the best marketing campaign that I've seen so far, we might have talked about this on the show before. I can't remember.
The coldest?
Wendy's.
For who?
With Reggie Bush.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Dude, that was genius. For people that don't know, for people that don't watch TV and live under a rock.
They did good.
So they come up and they had the Wendy's girl, and they said, Reggie got something taken from him. It's about time we gave it back. And they bring out the Baconator or breakfast, whatever sandwich it is, but it's on the Heisman Trophy base
display
platform.
Case, yeah.
And that was fucking
great.
Genius. But I still want to talk about Georgia because there's this one guy that I want to talk about. Can we talk about how big of a fucking human Darnell Washington is?
Yeah, big dude.
That dude is a monster among men.
What was
6'7", 270 pounds. That was one of the things that we were talking about last year when we went down there and watched him. Of how big, and that wasn't he 19 at that time?
I have a buddy who was on that football team at Baylor that talked about how monstrous that guy was.
Oh,
but I remember that whatever that photo was from the coin toss where he had his jersey rolled up under his shoulder patch, which sorry, douchebag move. But regardless,
dude, I would have been. Here's the thing, if you look back in the 90s. And they had the belly shirts. I would have definitely been a belly shirt.
I'm aware of that. You wear that to the gym.
You would have been a belly shirt.
You wear that to the gym. Not now. I wouldn't. I got
if you would have played football and there was an option to have a belly shirt, I guarantee you would have had one.
I would have. Okay.
Thank you. I know. But anyways, back to Darnell Washington. This dude is 6'7", 270 pounds, a junior there. It's like having an extra offensive tackle. Which I think what makes Georgia's running attack so big. And there was another crazy stat that I heard this weekend. So obviously, Tennessee's the most high-powered offense in the SEC and all of college football. And everybody thinks that they pick it up and throw it literally every single play. Georgia actually has, up to that point in that game, had more passing attempts than Tennessee. And Tennessee had more running attempts than Georgia. So it was kind of flip-flopped. And people are like, oh, shit, what the fuck? But at the end of the day, when you have a guy like Darnell Washington in there, who is that big of a human, it's literally like creating a legal tackle over. Having just an extra tackle and a guy that can go out and just block. He threw a guy with one arm on a chip. You know how hard that is to do on an SEC defensive end? Literally just took his arm and went boop and threw that dude 5 yards and then went out for a fucking pass route. It was absolutely nuts.
How tall is he?
6'7",
7.
6'7", 270.
It's a big dude.
But what a weekend down in Athens. Let's talk about Athens for a second. Have you ever been to Athens?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
I don't.
Brandon, we have to insert this video. I'm going to send it to you right now. The week when we went down. So, the bus.
Oof.
The bus that I have.
Yeah.
So, we took the bus. Literally, I learned how to drive that thing 2 days before we went down there. So, it was me, him, and two of our other buddies went down there. That was right. There's only 4 of us, right? And I learned how to drive that thing. I drove it for an hour. Didn't really like learn how to drive it. I just knew like what buttons to hit, what not to hit, and everything like that. But I drove 6 hours down there, and in the middle of downtown Athens, just not tooting my own horn, but I was whipping that son of a bitch down in there. And it was kind of like driving a boat, to be quite honest. What I got to do is like take real wide turn shit with it. It's like 35 foot long. But anyways, the environment down there in Athens, like literally probably one of my favorite trips of all time, if not my favorite trip of all time, even though we got the absolute dog shit kicked out of us. That was the most fun that I've ever had
Athens.
In Athens.
I love Athens.
And the thing about it is, Georgia fans are awesome.
Oh yeah,
they are awesome.
Well,
we were fully expecting to go down there, like going to like these bars and things, like with our UK gear on, like expecting to get shit talked.
They don't see you as a threat.
No, well,
like,
I know
no,
that.
No offense to Kentucky, but like they're like, oh, welcome to town. Let me buy you a beer. We're gonna smoke you tomorrow, so just have a good time, and then we'll send you on backpacking home.
That may be the case, but at the same time, it's like, hell, we got like 2 new hunting spots down there, didn't we, Smurf? We met 2 people down there. Like, hey man, I saw some, you hunt and everything. I'm like, hell yeah. It's like, man, we got.
That's
awesome.
Like,
we got place in Alabama. We got place in Georgia. I still got to call those dudes, by the way. Yeah, he said he'd fly us down on a private jet, and he showed me videos of it. And I was like, okay, well, that's that Georgia money.
When we going?
You don't hunt.
I hunt if private jet takes me there.
Yeah, of course it does. Fucking gold digger.
All too true right now.
but dude, it was what was the one the Boar's Head? Boar's Head like bar.
Oh yeah. Man, it's been a while since I've been.
What's some other ones that were down there? But
have you been
what was the outside one that we went to? Where the dude, like the video showed, jumped in the trash can. Oh God! That night, that was wild. But
have you been to a game at Auburn?
No, I've not been to Auburn. Murph, you've been to Auburn, haven't you?
Oh boy.
But another funny story about that too. So we go down there, and I had some guys on the team still that I played with, and they had family and friends tickets that I got. I had 2 of them, and 2 of our other buddies, so Smurf and our buddy John didn't have a ticket. And we've been drinking all day. We were trying to find a way to get in this game, and we come up with this scalper. And we buy these 2 tickets. So I should have known something was up when I go, hey man, how much for 2 tickets? He goes, $300. I went, how about 100? He went, all right, bet.
What?
That's right there. I should have known something was up. So
they were not?
They were fake as fuck.
Yeah, okay.
Fake as fuck, dude. And so we get down there, and me and Mike are sitting down in the student section, and or not student section, but the UK section. And let me tell you something. Like, I've been inside the hedges. Outside the hedges is even more beautiful. Like, unbelievably beautiful. The whole town of Athens is beautiful. The women in Athens are even more beautiful. The whole state of Georgia is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm giving mad props to Athens, Georgia right now. You guys do it right.
They do.
Shout out to you guys. Got to get up and walk down along the hedges. Dapped up Coach Summerall. Dapped up Coach White. Drunker than shit. Dapped up Jim Madalino. He looked at me. He goes, "You've been drinking, haven't you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, a little bit, Jimbo." But
you show it.
Yeah.
Just so you know, show it.
Well, I had my sunglasses on.
Oh well, not that. Were they the ones with the mirror on the inside?
No.
Okay.
No, straight up. But anyway, so me and Mike, my buddy Mike, sit down, and we're thinking that they're going to get in the game. Everything's going to be cool. And Smurf calls me. He's like, "Hey, those tickets you bought for us were fake as shit." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And me and Mike were getting ready to get up and leave. We're like, "Well, if all of us can't sit here, none of us are, we'll just go find watch at a bar or something." Mm-hmm. And then as I was like, "All right, we're about to come up and leave," he's like, No, we got in. I was like, "How'd you get in?" So they talked their way into saying "Hey, we just literally bought these tickets from this dude." He goes, "We know where we're supposed to go. Our buddy has 2 seats saved for us. If you can just act like you scanned it, let us walk in. We won't say shit." The guy was like, "All right, bet." Scanned their fake tickets, and they walked on in.
Wow. And
I told them we were sitting. They came down. We sat down. We watched the whole game. It was great.
That's pretty amazing.
It was nuts.
I had to buy a ticket for my buddy's 1-year-old daughter to get into a game here.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's like communist Russia over here for some reason. I don't know why. Even especially for former players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like asking to get into the Fort Knox with like no clearance for some reason. I don't know why, but you know, that's here or there. Anyways, that was the game down there in Athens. Tennessee still, I think, should be in the top 4 college football playoff. We'll see this weekend how it shakes out because I think Texas is actually going to beat TCU. Obviously, it'll come down to the Ohio State-Michigan game in Week 12 to see who's going to be the Big Ten representative in that. But obviously, like I said last week, the chances of an SEC, three SEC teams is now off the table.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, here's how it's going to end up being. Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Oregon.
How is Michigan going to get out?
Because Ohio State beat them.
But they're in right now, right?
Yeah, they're in right now. But hell, you also had Tennessee in last week against Georgia, and they got moved 4 spots.
Yeah.
Tennessee was number 1, and they got moved to 5. Michigan's at 3. Ohio State's at 2. But here's the thing.
Where's Oregon?
Low key, if we want, here's the thing about.
Wait, where's Oregon?
Oregon's at 6.
So how do you think they're going to slide in?
Georgia wins out. Tennessee wins out. Oregon has to win out. Ohio State beats Michigan.
Got it. That's what I was. Okay.
Okay. Now you have LSU at number 7. They play Ole Miss.
Hang on. Who's 5?
Tennessee.
Oh yeah, TCU's okay. Got it.
Yeah, TCU's number 4. I think they'll be gone because I think Texas will beat them, and I think Oklahoma will beat them like a Cherokee Indian drum. But
TCU's got Tennessee and Baylor left, right?
TCU has Texas, Baylor.
I'm sorry, TCU's got Texas, Baylor,
Baylor, and some out of conference opponent
at home.
Yeah,
they're on the road at Texas and on the road at Baylor.
No, they have Oklahoma left
at home.
I think it might be Texas. Let me fucking look this up.
I think they got Oklahoma at home. I think they're on the road at Texas, on the road at Baylor. They don't have to leave the state again.
TCU at Texas, TCU at Baylor, Iowa State at TCU.
Yeah, so they don't even have to leave the state again.
Oh shit, they beat the fuck out of Oklahoma. 55-24. I thought that was Oklahoma State they did that to.
They don't have to leave Texas for the last 2 months of the season.
God bless Texas.
Till they go to
Texas
bowl game.
Like I think Texas is probably the greatest state in the union, for being completely honest. But
okay, so that's your college football playoff prediction. We got to circle back to the Kentucky game.
Yeah, circle back.
So I want to talk about 2 things that I know you want to talk about too. Let's start with the positive. Dane Key's a baller.
He's a
dog.
Tell you what.
Oh yeah.
Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in on this one.
All right.
Dog of the week.
Okay.
The great Dane Key.
All right.
2 touchdowns. One of them being one of the more clutch touchdowns to seal the victory for us. But, dude, like, let's just pretend that catch down there at Ole Miss would have counted.
Yeah. He's a legend already.
Yeah. I think he is already.
Yeah.
But
I remember, so I know you know this, but we haven't talked about it much. My cousin is a walk-on receiver for Kentucky this year as a freshman. And he told me about Dane Key early on this summer. And he's like, man, the kid's going to play. And there wasn't like a lot of hype around him, before. Not a ton, at least. And, I just assumed they're friends, and he's hyping him up, and he's going to be good in the long run. But that kid came in and made an immediate statement, immediate impact.
Oh, yeah.
And is absolutely balling. And Will loves him. I mean, Will's going to give him the ball every chance he can. And, I mean, it's not even like that Ole Miss catch was ridiculous.
Now the thing is, too, now with NIL and everything, too, is that are we going to be able to keep him? Him and Barryon Brown.
Why would we lose him?
Because if you don't go into the portal after this year, your offensive line is the worst you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Levis is leaving. You can't put Kaya back there.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Kaya. But you either go and you find somebody in the portal, or you're going to have dudes leave and go to the portal.
Yeah.
Just because it's like free agency now.
I have to imagine that we can count on, Stoops and company to do their job and get some guys to transfer here. But
you got to get that collective going.
That's accurate. That's why it's been pushed so heavy lately.
Well, why hasn't it been approved?
That's a long, long conversation.
We're in the same category as Vandy. We're the only two schools in the SEC that doesn't have a collective.
There's a lot of politics at play.
Well, no shit.
I know. I'm just saying that's.
Well, how about this? How about you look at it from if the person that me and you both are talking about is, a businessman in mind, how does he not look at this and say, okay, this is a great opportunity for us? If we want to continue the success, not only for football, but for basketball, for baseball, volleyball, women's soccer, softball, the entire athletics program at University of Kentucky, how do you expect to sustain that type of achievement without it?
I agree.
You can't do it.
There's also a lot of play, politics involved between sports within the department.
Well, I know that's why you saw the shit this summer.
Yeah, it was boiling and boiling and boiling, or it was stirring and it finally boiled over. But there's a lot of different parts involved with that I know that you're aware of. But the bottom line is everybody has their own agenda, but we all just kind of need to sit down at the round table and say, okay, what's best for this university and this program? Because if we don't, we're stronger unified
together.
Yeah.
We're stronger together. It's like the Justice League, dude.
Yeah.
You got to come together. I know Batman and Superman had their problems and their differences. By God, you got to come together.
Yep.
Because Lex Luthor's coming to town. And he's got an army with him. You got to put your differences aside. We got to get going, brother. That's it. But anyways, back to Kentucky game, like we said, 21-17.
We need a new long snapper.
We do. And
should I do it?
Time out. We're going to do, for the first time ever, we're going to have a co-dog of the week. So first co-dog of the week, Dane Key. Other co-dog of the week,
Colin freaking Goodfellow.
Colin mother effing Goodfellow. Now,
sacrificing his body.
I know that you texted me about this, about exactly like what had happened and how that was legal to get that punt off and everything like that, and how that was roughing the kicker.
So here's my question. Here, I'll ask you the same way that I asked you before you educated me on this.
Okay.
I don't know where the line is between protecting the punter or the kicker from a roughing the kicker penalty and when he becomes just another player with the ball. Because if he'd have fumbled, if that snap had been, it's a bad snap, he recovers it and he takes off running or he tries to make a pass, you can hit him.
Yeah.
So at what point does is it when he goes into his punting motion?
It's literally as he kicks it. When he kicks it, he becomes the kicker. And so for people that don't know, he was still inside the tackle box. So the tackle box is obviously where the tackle's set up. He's got to be inside him.
So the fact that
the only thing that saved them was the fact that the long snapper literally snapped it directly over his head, and it was a direct line.
But I mean, even I don't want to get too into like physics here, but like even the way the ball bounced, if it had bounced and kicked sideways out of the tackle box,
then he's out of the tackle box.
And we lose that game.
Okay, so let's put it this way: so like Max Duffy and all the Australian punters that we had, they have the rugby. Okay. Now, as soon as those, because that's a running motion, okay? As soon as they take off running, they're outside the tackle box, they are not protected whatsoever. But a standard traditional American punter, they are protected inside the tackle box, no matter if it was snapped 50 yards over their head, 10 yards over their head, or right where they catch it and punt it from. If they are inside the tackle box and they go to kick and they get that kick off, he got the kick off was the biggest thing. It could have went 10 yards, it could have went 5 yards. Could have went 50. Doesn't matter. As long as he got that kicking motion off and that guy hit him after the fact that the ball had hit his foot and left, that is roughing the kicker.
So if he had dropped, I don't want to get too into the particulars, but I want to understand the rule. So if he had dropped the ball to punt it, and before his foot made contact with him, they just speared right through him.
That's a block.
You're clear.
Nothing. You're clear. If the guy has the ball in his hands,
you're clear. Which is the same as if it was a regular snap too, though.
Same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, same thing. And I low key feel for the Missouri defender. I mean, obviously I don't feel too bad because obviously it won us the game. That was literally the play of the game. And you see everybody, all the fans like donating, like Venmo and stuff.
Which if his season's over, he can keep. I think. My understanding of the rule.
I don't know, but he did a pretty cool thing with him and Matt Ruffalo have a profit set up to where it goes to the Kentucky Children's Hospital.
Yeah, love that.
Good on you, Colin.
Yeah, I just meant that that.
Yeah, he could have kept it.
No, I'm saying like the fans were not risking his eligibility if his season's over anyway.
Well,
but he obviously did the right thing.
I think that there's if his season's over, like I think he would still have to like declare for the NFL draft to be completely ruled ineligible with the NCAA. So I don't know the ins and outs of that. I'm not going to sit here and act like I do because I don't. But
but either way, he did the right thing.
He did the right thing. He saved the game. Obviously, it's terrible what happened. If you hear this, Colin, hope you get better soon. But another 100 yards, another 100+ yard rushing day for Chris Rodriguez. 29 carries, over 100 yards rushing. Another guy we got to talk about, Trevin Wallace, dude. Trevin Wallace stepped up big time, and ever since this guy got on campus, Coach Stoops told me this. Coach Summerall told me this last year. Just like, hey, you better watch out. This dude's going to be a dog here in a couple years. And you had DeAndre Square out last week. Obviously, we've had Jaquez Jones out for the last couple weeks, ever since the Ole Miss game with a foot injury. So not only did you have Trevin in there, you also had De'Aaron Jackson, who's been there for a couple years. I think both of them are sophomores. And, dude, Trevin is a freaking monster. That dude is 240 pounds of solid muscle, and dude can run a 4.5. State champion in track in the state of Georgia. State champion in powerlifting. Basketball player, football player. Like, dude did it all. And that's what really got me excited. And he likes to hunt, too. I'll take him for an off-season episode. There we go. But dude, he played his ass off. Had 8-9 tackles. Had a couple tackles for losses. Him and De'Aaron played great back there together in the middle of the defense. And the way they communicated, not only to the defensive line, but the way they communicated with the safeties and everybody rocking down, everything like that, it was absolutely beautiful. So shout out Trevin Wallace for having a great game, and hopefully we get to see more of him, moving forward. I don't know what exactly is wrong with DeAndre. We'll have to find that out here pretty soon, but I should probably start paying attention to Coach Stoops' Monday press conferences. Do a little better intellect for this podcast. But yeah, we're bowl eligible for the 7th time in a row. I don't know when the last time that happened, if ever, to be quite honest with you. But and speaking of Coach Stoops, I heard he was one of the candidates for the Auburn job. But he's a candidate for every job that comes up.
I actually haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Coach Stoops, Deion Sanders, which I think it should be Deion.
Yeah. I did know that.
I really hope that somebody finally has the brains to understand what Deion Sanders brings to that program.
I think I saw that Deion was up, or was potentially the favorite, and I just stopped paying attention because I assumed that he would be the choice.
How can he not? I mean, he got the number one recruit to go to an FCS school in all of college football.
Yeah.
Or all of high school football. Number one recruit in the nation. Got to go to the FCS school. Now, let's say if he does go to Auburn, I'd say that kid's probably coming with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of that team's coming with him.
100%.
I'd say a lot of that team's coming with him. But like the videos that they put out, man, like, and that locker room mentality that they have.
Dude, he's like, I don't know how to he's like one of the guys.
He's like one of the guys, but has an authority.
But yeah, that they just respect the hell out of.
It's just something they can all relate to.
Yeah.
Like they want to be the guy, and that's the guy. That's why they call him Prime, man. Yeah. I would have loved to have played for Deion Sanders.
He's got a swagger that you can't demand. No. Right? Like he doesn't demand the respect because he doesn't have to. Like they want to soak up everything he's got, right? Like they want to soak up his knowledge and look at the game the way that he does. So it's not something that he has to like have this authoritative power over them. They just automatically are like, we want to learn from you.
He's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's something that can't be taught or earned. Like he's
just
earned as a coach, I should say.
Yeah, he's just got okay, people like coaches and everything talk about this all the time. He's just got that it factor. Yeah. He's got it. Yeah. Whatever it is, he's got it.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I really hope, I would love to see him get the FSU job. I really thought they were going to give him the FSU job last year. But looking at what he's done at Jackson State, looking at the culture and the program that he's built there, looking at the attention. I mean, hell, they had College Game Day there, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Which is bananas. I mean, crazy. It's not. It deserves it. It's just, it's crazy that he's brought that kind of spotlight.
Of attention and kind of respect that he's brought to that program. And shout out to everything that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be insane to see what he could do
with that type of backing,
with that type of, especially that type of money.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Down there. Oh my God! Did you imagine the pregame videos we would get then? Hit my damn theme music.
I love that. That's why that's not why I asked you, but going to a game. I got to see Auburn. I got to see Cam Newton beat Spurrier for the first time in person, which was
tell you all Steve Spurrier story.
Remarkable. So hang on, real quick before you go to that. He beats South Carolina. I went to that game. I was like 19, and the atmosphere was, I don't even know how to put it into words. The stadium had a heartbeat. I mean, it was weird. Like, it was pulsing, and it's the first time I'd ever experienced something like that at that big of a game. And Cam Newton beats him, and he walks over in front of the student section. And he jumps up on top of the wall, like in the end zone, and he had his helmet in one hand, and he just put his hands up, just like this, and like crowd surfs. And then we go out to the bar after they TP'd Toomer's Corner. We go out to the bar that night, and he walks in the bar, and it was like, I mean, like their king just walked in. Like the Red Sea parted for him to walk in, walk straight to the bar and do what he wanted. It was
gonna go handheld for this one, Brandon. I'm tired of this thing just standing there. I'm sorry.
It was one of the coolest things, just because it was just this. Everybody just like had this respect for him. Like, we don't bother him, we don't take pictures. Like, he does what he wants, and we just.
Oh, you know, people are still sneaking pictures though.
But they weren't coming up and asking him for pictures. Like, it was just like this mutual respect. Like, you enjoy your night, man. You've earned it. Like, it was so cool.
I would like to see, more athletes get treated like that, because, I mean, as much as you know, anytime you go out in that kind of environment, there's usually a target. Like,
but there's either a target, or you're wanting to be nice to the fans and the students, and you can carry on conversations all night and not get to do anything. But literally everybody just collectively was like, enjoy your night, drink, talk, hang out, do what you want to do. We're not going to bother you. We're going to party with you. And it was the first time I'd seen something like that with a star that was as big as he was. And also love to see Spurrier get whooped. So go on with your story.
So when I got recruited by South Carolina, I can't remember the guy that recruited me, what his name was. But anyways, so I go down to a visit to South Carolina, and it was like one of their, like, I guess they call it like their super showcase, whatever it was. I got all their top guys coming in, and it was a camp too, but it was also more like a visit. It was more like you can do the camp if you want to, but we want you to just come down here for a visit. And I didn't plan on doing the camp, but I'm really glad I did.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up bringing my cleats or whatnot, and I found out that their top quarterback recruit was doing it. One of their top wide receiver commits were doing it. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go get the cleats. And I told to get one of the equipment managers there, so I need a pair of gloves.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And we go out there and had a good camp or whatnot. And so this is after they offered me. So this is like, I don't know, 3-4 months after they offered me.
Mm-hmm.
Been in contact with them, throughout that whole process. And so we get there and have the camp, and then we go up to, like, Kentucky has their, like, recruiting room, and we have, dinner and whatnot. And I'm supposed to go to Florida straight from there and do kind of the same thing. And I get up there, and it's Coach Botkin. I can't remember his first name, but he was a linebackers coach there, and he's the one that offered me. And Coach Botkin, was up there and introduced me to different people. And then actually, before that, I was actually sitting by Marcus Lattimore in this, like, meeting that we had. Had no idea it was Marcus Lattimore the whole time. I'm sitting there just, like, chatting it up with him like he's just a regular guy. And all of a sudden, Steve Spurrier goes, and we got Marcus Lattimore here to come up and talk to y'all. So give a round of applause. I start clapping. All of a sudden, I see this dude stand up next to me. I'm like, holy shit, you're Marcus Lattimore.
That's funny.
But anyways, so we get up there, and I'm shaking people's hands or whatnot. And then here comes ball coach. And he goes, Coach Spurrier, this is Cash Daniel, the linebacker we offered in Kentucky. He goes, who? And I went, okay. I was like,
wow.
I still got the picture on my phone. He didn't smile. I didn't smile. It was a dead ass handshake. And literally I literally had a plate of food in my hand. After that picture was taken, Bakken had to go talk to somebody else. I set the plate down. I looked at my dad and I said,
let's go.
We're getting out of here. I know where I'm going to school.
Yep.
Let's go.
And you didn't even go to Florida then?
Didn't even go to Florida.
Wow. Why? What turned you off from going to Florida after that?
Just
you
because
that was like the
well,
push.
I mean, like, at that time, dude, like, my dad raised me from the time I was basically my whole life, but, by the time I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, and he had sacrificed so much for me and for me and my sister. And, he'd driven me to camps. He's taken me to, visits. He's done this, he's done that. And, we already drove 5 hours to Columbia or 6 hours to Columbia. And then it was another 10 to Gainesville from there. And at that point in time, dude, like I'd already visited Kentucky. I'd visited Louisville. I visited South Carolina, obviously. But I didn't really go anywhere else because I got a lot of those offers like after I committed to Kentucky. But I just didn't tweet it out because I felt like it was like disrespectful to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I just, at the end of the time, I already visited Kentucky before that. And that's another one of the things I could say about Coach Stoops is that like the reason that you see the success we've had at Kentucky is just like it's not just a recruiting pitch. It's genuine love. It's genuine appreciation for even making the trip up there. They roll the red carpet out for you, make you feel like right at home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no bullshit. Like he will literally tell you like where he sees you fitting in with this program, how long, like if he plans on redshirting you based upon how many guys we got at the position or, what you do in fall camp or what you do in spring. And it was just a respect thing.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever, like, that's what I base my life on is that if you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't treat me with respect, I damn sure not going to treat you with respect.
Just that, first off, I've heard that sentiment 100 times over from Stoops' guys that he's recruited here.
Oh, it's crazy.
You can see it in him when you meet him, even as a fan. Even when you're not
can I tell a story now that like NIL is like legal? He didn't pay.
It doesn't change then, but you're not eligible anymore, so it's fine.
Does it hurt them though?
Could theoretically.
Never mind. We're good now. Nothing to do with money. Nothing to do with money. I promise you that.
But when did you meet Slacks? Is she involved in the recruiting at all? Not like actually recruiting you, but is she around?
I didn't meet Susan until I got to campus and we started doing like our media training and stuff. And I fell in love with her.
That woman's a queen.
I fell in love with her from day one. Happy birthday, Susan! We cannot wait to be at your birthday party when this episode drops on tonight.
Friday night.
We'll be there tonight. I'm gonna be drunk.
I love Slacks.
She's the greatest, man, and she's gone leaps and bounds, not just for me, but for us in this podcast. And she's done everything the right way.
She's one of those people. Like, I mean, that's why we get along. We're all those kind of people. But if you treat her with respect, she will break her back to help you.
Oh, it's just scratching back.
She's unbelievable.
Taking care of people that took care of you. It's really all. That's what life's about.
Mm-hmm.
If as long as you take care of the people that took care of you, or you show respect to people that showed respect to you, or people have done favors for you, do favors for them, help them back out. Like that's where I found like you get further in life, and you don't stay in the same place really. I mean, you may have to go out of your way to get something done for them, but you can't imagine the things that they've had to go out of their way to do before you. And for Susan in general and what she's done for me and all the shit I've put her through. I owe her my life.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Coach Stoops is the recruiting pitch that he brought in. He treats every guy I'm not going to say he treats every guy the same way because, like I said, he's going to tell you how it is. Like he's going to come in and say, "Hey, I see you redshirting this year. I see you, being involved in the." He's not going to blow smoke up your ass. Is what I'm going to say. But yeah, that was my Steve Spurrier story, and I was like, you know what, Dad?
Yeah, it's a quick answer.
I think I'm done with this one.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, let's get down to two topics in NFL I want to talk about. Then we'll get down to basketball and we'll get out of here. I see Brandon over there yawning.
Do we need a break? We got to go to a break, don't we?
We don't have a break. We don't have a fucking guest.
No, but we have the ad. Do we need to go to a break? We don't? Okay.
We don't do a live read from Liquid IV?
No. Thought he was going to insert it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll give you one here real quick. Have you guys ever been so hungover that you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my God, I feel like death? Well, our friends at Liquid IV have a solution for you. All you got to do is take that little packet, or my favorite, you do it before you start drinking, before and after. That's called pre-gaming, the right way. So you take one before, you take one after, you wake up feeling not as bad, if not bad at all. Like when we went out Saturday and I took that one before we went out, That's what we used to do with Gator Light, but can't throw two bags together.
Gator Light can't hold a candle to Liquid IV though. Those are like those. It's the trust me. I did.
I will say though, like, I wish Liquid IV had a little less sugar. But that's okay. Anyways,
some of
what's
them
our promo code?
Flavors,
what's our promo code?
Fully Unscripted. 25%.
You can save 25% when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code
Fully Unscripted.
Fully Unscripted. Go get your Liquid IV today, and don't be hungover tomorrow.
That was good. They might want that. They might want to capture, like, they might want to just steal that and use it on their own.
There you go. Anyways, now
we're gonna use some on Friday. That's for sure.
I'm gonna drink 2 packets.
I have 4 new cases in. What flavor you want me to bring?
Something berry.
Okay. Acai berry.
Favorite.
Got acai berry.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm a strawberry guy myself.
Let's get down into 2 NFL topics I want to talk about real quick. The Packers are dead.
In the water.
They're dead. We literally just lost to the worst defense in NFL history. No disrespect to my boy Josh Pascal or Logan Stenberg, but that was not expected, to be quite honest with you. The horrendous losing streak is now at 5 at the hands of MCDC and the Detroit Lions. Here's the thing. Rodgers looked like he's like completely done with the season now. Like with his body language and the things like that. I understand it. Like he's got no targets. Randall Cobb's out. Alan Lazard is out. He don't have Devontae Adams anymore. Sorry, I'm kind of twisted the brain a little bit.
You're good.
But it's just like there's no chemistry with these young receivers at all whatsoever. He had 3 picks. Now, I will say 2 of those were probably his fault. One was underthrown, one was batted off a helmet, and the other one, you can go either way.
So is he done?
I don't think he's done. Listen to him talk.
Is he done there?
I don't know. But listening to him talk yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, it seemed like, he's in good spirits. He's always a positive dude. Shout out to Ayahuasca. He had a shirt on that said, God, what the fuck was it? I gotta think here. Something.
It wasn't better than that lady's shirt at the Tennessee Georgia game. Did you see that one?
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Oh yeah.
He said can't buy this.
It said Kirby Smart can't afford this hooker.
I don't know if she was talking about Hendon Hooker herself.
I'm gonna go with Hendon.
But you got to put more context in that kind of shirt though. If you're gonna wear it,
I think maybe you're just judging based off of her appearance.
Well, why don't you just put a number 5 on there?
Maybe she didn't want to pay him. I don't know.
You already had his name.
Depends which way she meant it, I guess.
Lady, if you see this, will you please tell us if that was about you?
It was about Hendon. There's no other way.
Can't afford this hooker? Come on.
Just
that
saying.
could go either way. Brandon, could that go either way?
If it was okay,
Thank you.
Let's put
Smart,
it.
what do you think?
Hang on. Let's use.
You see some girl at a tailgate, and she has a homemade shirt that says Kirby. You can't afford this hooker.
It was white with orange writing.
I will say I saw a comment below one of these posts. It was that lady in her shirt with a comment that said, "Pretty sure Kirby Smart has $5."
That's exactly what I was. Hang on. That's exactly what I was going to say. If it was about her, Kirby could afford it. If it was a shot at whether he could afford Hendon to come to Georgia.
Maybe she's saying she's a high class hooker.
Jeez, can't believe we're having this conversation.
I mean, what else do you want us to say? I mean, maybe she's just she's not a pink sheet.
Oh God, that was a good reference. Man, okay. Realistically, I think it was about the fact that Kirby wasn't going to be able to recruit Hendon Hooker to come to Georgia.
He could.
In a hilarious way, I agree with that.
I think it's a toss-up. We'll leave it. I tell you what, when this episode comes out, we will put up a poll.
Yeah.
And we'll have the picture. We'll put up the poll. Who is she referencing to? Hendon Hooker or herself? No. Here's the thing. No disrespect if you're talking about yourself.
It's fine too.
It's fine with me too. I'm all for it.
And if Kirby Smart can't afford you, then
there is
doing something right.
Doing something absolutely right. Anyways, back to Aaron Rodgers. He had 291 passing yards, but he also led the team in rushing with 40 yards. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
If you got Aaron Rodgers, who's obviously not a pocket,
pretty awful,
is a pocket passing quarterback, and he's running out in the pocket, leading you with 40 yards on the ground against the worst defense in NFL history. That's pretty bad. Now, moving on to the second topic of the NFL, the last one we'll get down to basketball. Kirk Thuggins.
Yeah,
Did you see that video?
I did.
That was absolutely beautiful. If we can insert it here, we will. Kirk Cousins on the plane ride back against after winning against his former team, the Washington football team. Sorry, Jamin. The football team just sounds much cooler. Like the Commanders sounds like an XFL team to me. Be quite honest with you.
It does. We're just not used to it yet.
No,
but
the football team is like how can you not keep the football team?
I mean, it was obviously a placeholder, which is in and of itself a ridiculous fact that they had to take a whole year to think about. Like, we'll just call it the football team for a year, and then we'll figure out what we want to call it.
But
was it a year or was it 2 years?
It was a year.
That to me is what's more obnoxious. Is they're like, well, we haven't figured it out yet, so we're just going to call it the football team, and then we'll circle back to this before next season.
Kind of like doing a podcast episode without having a name yet.
That's a little less prominent and public, like just a tad less.
Yeah, I think they're up for sale now too, though.
Well,
they're finally getting.
There's going to be a lot of pro teams selling, but across football and basketball.
How come? Is it the economy?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the price tags. There's just the value is just so high in a lot of those ways. But the Commanders does sound silly because we're not used to hearing it. But when you think of it in terms of like commander in chief, the fact that they're in DC, they could market it properly. They just haven't done it yet.
no,
But
find a way. But anyways, back to Kirk Thuggins. Now, when you're a white guy in the locker room and you're cool with everybody and everybody's cool with you, like I can remember a couple times, like when Ryan Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic, people call him, went up to his press conference and he had Deshaun Jackson's chains on.
That
It
was
kind of
good.
threw everybody off guard. That is some of the most wholesome, funniest content you could ever find.
because they had a bet, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That particular instance I did. But after Kirk Thuggins went on the road and beat the Washington football team / Commanders on the plane ride home. Now, you can attest to this too. The plane rides home after a big win are some of the funnest 2, 3, 4 hours, however long you're up in the air, that you will ever have on an airplane with your boys. Like those are I can remember when we beat Florida and down there in the swamp and we're coming back. Like, I can't get into too much details, but it was a fun time. For a college football team, it was a fun time.
We had a good time, but there was only like 12 or 13 or whatever of us.
Like private planes and everything like that. Probably
There was a couple times.
Probably had like caviar served to you and got your nails.
We
and
had
toenails
We had
did.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, we did too.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Did you guys ever have Popeyes?
No, we didn't do Popeyes. We did Chick-fil-A on the flight from the lodge to like on the way there, like when we were going
Did you
to
guys
the
have
game.
TSA like check you there, or did you have to go through TSA at the airport?
Yes, we went through TSA.
No, I'm saying TSA came to us.
I'm saying we walked on the plane.
Oh, so we
But-
basically did that. Like TSA, I don't know if it's changed now since COVID or some of the stuff that's went down, but like the amount, I'm going to say this, the amount of stuff
Well, wait, hang on. Did you?
that would enter that plane.
You never walked through. You never went through the airport.
No.
You went through TAC Air.
Yeah, we went through
Yeah.
TAC
So
Air.
so you put your bag through the metal detector, but that's no.
No.
I think they
All
ran.
they did, so you would get dressed after practice. You would come up and say, okay, you got to be on the bus at this particular time. So make sure you get up and you go through TSA. TSA was literally 3 agents. They would wand you and shit, but they would literally take your bag, open it, and like look. They will do a look. Be like, you're good.
I think that's what happened. I think that's what we did. But I don't think they wanted us. I think we walked through the metal detector. But on the way home, I don't remember doing it ever.
No, you never did it on the way.
Never
home.
on the way back.
Never on the way back.
Yeah.
It was always just get in, get out.
Yeah.
So the amount of stuff.
Did you all go did you go straight from the stadium to the airport, or
Straight
did you
from the stadium to the terminal.
you not back to the hotel?
Not back to the hotel.
Same. Okay.
No, so everything was like you had to have your bags packed before team meetings. You come down,
Yeah,
take
yeah,
your stuff
same,
with
same,
you and all
yeah.
that good shit. But yeah, those are some of the funnest moments. And then
100%.
then seeing a video like that with Kirk Thuggins having like 9, 10 chains on, just sitting there doing his
That
thing.
was
By the
great.
way, Kirk Thuggins is absolutely racked.
Yeah.
with abs down there, dude. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Good
Absolutely
athlete,
racked.
man.
But it's one of the most wholesome, funniest moments you can have as your teammates. Just sitting there, just after a big win.
Well, that's
enjoying
something
it.
that now the public gets to see a lot more of because of social media and the access that we have to the locker rooms and things. But like that's something that's always existed that we just didn't get to see. And like when you start looking at certain situations, like the way that if a teammate has a bad game and like let's say we're on the same team. I have a bad game and you're asked about it in post game. Like, what are we going to do about that? Like, you go to battle and defend those guys. Everybody else sees the performance they put on the field, but you see the work that I put in the practice facility. You see the weight room workouts. You see all the stuff that goes into it. Like, we have a different relationship than the public sees. Mm-hmm. And now the public gets a little bit more of a glimpse into those moments that everybody on the team is used to seeing you in.
Which I think it's for the good.
100%. But I mean, obviously, there's two sides to every coin. We know the negative that comes with that stuff, but the positive is those wholesome moments and things are like. I'm glad that it's so much more accessible now in those ways.
Yeah, I don't think me and you would have been good teammates.
Probably not.
No, me and you would have gotten.
I'd have called you lazy. So we got Chick-fil-A and tropical smoothie.
He wants to tell you.
We got Chick-fil-A. We got Chick-fil-A. We got our Chick-fil-A orders, and we got
you would be the guy that would show up to weights like 10, 12 minutes late.
No, dude, I did 2 weight workouts. I always
fucking showed up like 6:30, and my workout was at 8, dude. Went there and got like 6 extra squat reps, got fucking treatment.
And there's the social media teaser right there.
Went back to fucking workouts at 8, got shoot around at noon, skipped class to get like more treatment.
I never got treatment. I never got treatment. Not one time. Well, one time.
I lived in the fucking
I never got treatment, but I also didn't need to be healthy because I wasn't playing. But I had
you had to keep the grades up for the team.
Yeah. Oh God, that was
team GPA.
That was that. So here we're going to transition to basketball. Here's how we're going to do it. Okay. So I actually, as the upperclassman, like was getting degrees. So because the basketball team was so young, a lot of the, as a freshman, you have UK 101 and comm classes and all that stuff. So
time out. Can I ask you one question?
Huh?
Did you ever have comm 101?
Well, with DeSantis. Ridiculous.
Dude's a pimp,
yeah,
dude.
Just
Dude's
ridiculous.
A pimp,
ridiculous.
Dude.
Loved it.
I love that dude.
Loved
Everybody
it.
on the
Had a blast.
Didn't he used to be the liaison for athletics?
Yeah, I think he was.
Dude, everybody on the football team hated him.
I learned so much in that class.
I didn't learn a thing except that he was a pimp, dude. That's the only thing that I learned. That he was a fucking OG pimp.
I learned a lot in that class. I learned a lot because I loved it. The way he taught it, the way he presented the material,
dude,
I loved it.
For people that listening that know Dr. DeSantis, I really hope you watch this. You have my utmost respect.
Man.
And I mean, when I say that you're a pimp, I mean that in the most respectful way possible.
He was great.
Actually, you know what you are, Dr. DeSantis? You are a dog. You are an absolute dog.
I loved him, man. But seriously, the way he, as a professor, obviously his job is to present material in a way that's going to be retained by the students, and he did a great job of that. I know. But I'm saying that's his job, and he does it really well. That's my point. Aside from being a great dude,
he's just a pimp.
Yeah, loved him.
You know what I'm thinking.
I know.
Dude,
yeah, I know.
Pimp. I don't know what you heard about me.
Okay, all right. He also played music over the way in every day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He was banging out.
PIMP.
Banging out on the way in. So
he is, dude. I'm telling you.
All right. So what was I talking about? I don't even remember.
Basketball.
Yeah, but what was before I was so rudely interrupted?
I was talking about you keeping up the grades for the basketball team.
Oh yeah, so
degrees.
Well, no, I'm saying like a lot of our young, no, not bad, not like knockoff classes, but they just had to take we had so many young dudes, they're all taking young like freshman classes
because they're only going to be there for one semester.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So they're still getting their freshman semester classes in, and I was having to do like multiple degrees, so it was actually pretty tough. But anyway, point being, there was the first week of me on the team. They asked me, the trainers and the equipment managers were asking me if I wanted padded compressions and stuff. And I was like, no, I don't want padded compressions. And then I stepped in front of Alex Poythress on his way to the rim one time, and he led with his knee and hit me in the quad. And
Charlie Horse?
No, my whole leg was purple for 2 weeks. So I had to get I had to get treatment then, and I had to get treatment on a bad ankle twist. But that was the only 2 times I was.
I wore padded girdle in basketball.
I never did till then, and then by my junior and senior year, I stopped wearing them. But yeah, that was I got very little treatment, but I did get the weight. I did hit. So we did a lot of with basketball. We did very little like heavy weight strength training and a lot of like resistance and band work and stuff. Yeah. And I wanted to be stronger and more cut and built. So I would get my own like weight training in, and then I'd do the banded work with the team and everything too. So
yeah, so that's kind of like the opposite with me. Like anytime that like Coach Ed or anybody would like bring in band work, I'd be like, nah.
That's my point.
I'll just throw on 4 or 5 on a squat rack and go to 10.
That's my point. I was lifting
probably
individually.
Why I wasn't as flexible or as athletic or as agile, but
probably.
Yeah.
But I was having to do the band work with the team, and I was doing my individual like strength stuff on my own.
Oh, that's cool.
For my personal benefit.
Did you go to JC?
No, I did it at
dude, I would have bet $1,000 that you were the dude to go to JC.
Dude, I don't like working out in public with people. I've never had a workout partner. I've been with you one time, and like that's fine because we think the same. But like I can't stand when I go in the gym and somebody's like, "1 more set." Yeah, I don't like that.
That's why I was in there today up here downtown at Proof, and
what, Brandon?
I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
What?
There were so many fucking people there.
That's my point. I don't like that. That's why I've been going to that.
But I could obviously like when we worked out, like you had 3 different groups, and there's 20 to 30 guys in there per group.
Yeah,
but it's complete madness.
I'm not.
Like
I
want to act a fool.
I want to get my workout in with my headphones in and
so you're
the
quiet guy that would just all about his work.
If I'm distracted, like if people are coming up and talk, like I'll wear headphones even if they're not playing music, because I don't want you to come up and talk to me, because I'll get distracted and get into a conversation and I won't get my work in, and that's not why I'm there.
Yeah. Well.
But then again, I'm just about my business, and you're just a social butterfly.
No, I'm not a social butterfly at all. Like if I'm with my teammates, like in the weight room at that environment, yeah, I'm literally like, I'm pushing my teammates to be better. You didn't push your teammates to be better?
Social butterfly.
You didn't push your teammates
I'm talking about post-basketball.
You did? Oh, dude, no. That's why I'm in there at fucking 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Says a guy that works out like once a week.
So you need to come to Absolute Fitness. That's the private gym.
That's where we worked out at.
Yeah, once. We did LAC once too.
Yeah, I know.
But Absolute Fitness is that's my environment. I want to bang the music out, get my work in, and bounce.
See, I mean, no disrespect to that gym or that guy that owns it, but like,
I feed off the energy of a gym.
Needs some more stuff.
I feed off it's private. It's small. It's
I know, but like
it's boutique. But I feed off the energy of a gym. I just don't want to be in there and be social. Anyway, we're gonna finish up this episode with basketball talk because we've gone
homecoming
way long. So Tyler Eulis is either gonna hop on and do a segment for this episode, or he'll do it for next week. We had to reschedule what time we're recording today, so it didn't fit his schedule, but we'll get him in when we can. He got to come see the first game with me on Monday.
Hold this.
On Monday? What? Oh, my God. He got to come see the first game with me on Monday. We look great. I won't get too much into detail. We'll talk more about it next week.
Yeah, I've actually watched a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a question mark on whether we can shoot this year. We shot the shit out of the ball. CJ has one of the most beautiful strokes I've seen in a long time. Every time he lets that ball go, I think it's going in. Super impressed with him and what he's done and the work he's put in to get back from his injury last year. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. Iowa, yeah. And then he was hurt. He's from Cincinnati, went to Iowa, came back, blew his ACL, and made his return this year. And he started the first game. I think he was the leading scorer. I think he's going to maintain that position. But we were without Severe at point and without the returning National Player of the Year in Oscar at center. So that lineup's going to shift as we go on into the season as we get started. But unbelievable first showing. CJ shot well. Antonio Reeves shot well. Jacob Toppin shot well.
I saw Toppins go coast to coast one time, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
He has changed his offensive game. Like he used to have a very limited bag, and he is. I mean, what he's done and the work he's put in individually to get where he's at now. He used to be Obi's little brother. Obi Toppin, his brother's in the league, used to be Obi's little brother. I think now Obi is becoming Jacob's big brother. Like he's showing out, and I think he's going to have a big season ahead of him. Had a little bit of a scare with what looked to be a knee injury for a second there, but he bounced right back out there. Good shout out to the training staff.
Deal in the off season.
The right now that's recovering.
Yeah,
it's Oscar.
Oscar.
Mm-hmm. He's out until he probably won't play Friday.
Separated shoulder. Dislocation, AC joint.
I think it's his joint. He had some.
Joint,
he had some.
That's what I had surgery on, along with my torn rotator cuff. But the AC joint was the one.
What's the recovery time
for an AC joint?
Yeah.
For surgery, he had surgery.
I don't even remember. I don't want to speak. Let me get the details. I know he's back in. He's going to be back in a week.
How long has he been out for?
2 weeks.
Oh, then he didn't have surgery.
But he had something. They cleaned something up. I don't want to speak.
Oh, so what they had to do with me is I think mine was longer because of the rotator cuff deal. But mine, so obviously, when you're hitting, I tried to lean with my shoulder as much as I could. Obviously, I couldn't with as many concussions as I had. Shout out CTE. But that joint would flare up so bad, and you see it in so many football players.
Mm-hmm.
Like your AC joint is like right here. And
you just wanted an excuse to pull your shirt up.
No, I'm showing you. I'll give you a fucking visual, dick. Anyways, there will be some guys that have it so bad, like Charles Walker.
Yeah.
If Charles Walker had it,
I'm sorry, I'm tripping. It's his knee.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead.
That joint will be sticking up out of nowhere. It'll look like a big abscess in there, but that's his joint out of socket, really. And so that's where the great drug of Toradol comes in, and cortisone.
Oh yeah.
Shout out.
But that's just a Band-Aid. Got to get that fixed. Yeah. See, they've been vague about this, but he's sidelined with knee stuff. Minor 15-minute procedure to clean some things up, not a big deal, which that happens all the time with knees. I thought for some reason you said shoulder and I was thinking it was that, but it's not. It was his knee. But he'll be fine. He'll be either back Friday, more than likely it'll be the next game
Who they
next
have
week.
Coming up next?
If you hadn't asked me, I would have told you.
Isn't that supposed to be the opposite?
I forgot. If you hadn't asked me, I would have remembered. That's how it works.
Well, Mr. ESPN Radio, you got to be on top of that
here we go. I got a little bit going on right now.
Welcome back to ESPN Radio UK pregame. I'm Todd Lanner here to talk about my 2 workouts a day and my gym class degree. Keep up the process here for the UK players that are gone in 6 months.
We do have Michigan State next week, though. That's going to be interesting.
Is that going to be on the aircraft carrier?
No, it's in Indy.
Are we going to London?
You want to go to London?
Let's go to London.
You ever been to London?
Never been out of the country.
Really?
Except
not even Mexico.
I don't count the Bahamas as out of the country.
Yeah.
I don't even count that.
Have you been to the Bahamas?
Yeah, I've been to the Bahamas.
Been to Mexico?
I haven't been to Mexico.
We got to wrap this up.
I want to go to Juarez.
I bet you do.
You want to go? You ever been to Juarez?
No. We can go to London, though.
You want to go to Juarez?
Let's go. Let's wrap this up.
All right.
We'll talk more about basketball next week when we got a little bit more of a sample size. But right now, I'm pretty impressed with what they got. I think this is the best team. I think this is the best team that Cal's had since I graduated in 2015. I'm a little bit biased on that. But I think I'll say that again next year because next year is about to be.
I was about to say, it seems like every year, and this is obviously, reason why we have this show. I compliment you on football. You compliment me on basketball. So this is just me as a fan. Not really a fan. I'm not really a basketball fan, but from a person from the outside looking in, that hears UK basketball fans talk every single year. Besides the 1 year, was it last year or 2 years ago where they were just
terrible? 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I think last year we shit the bed in the first round of the tournament. 2 years ago was when we were awful. But I think I know what you're saying. There's a lot of overhype. There's a lot of overhype.
That's when everybody's calling in for Matt Jones. Be like, hey Matt, what's going on with Cal and them boys down there? Why can't we shoot the 3 ball? And why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And I'm just sitting there.
All right.
Damn.
All right. I think the Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox year several years back was the best team until this coming season that he's had since 2015. Next year will be the best team that he's had since 2015.
Could we get a 1 day all access and there was practice, you think?
Yeah.
I want to try to dunk on one of those dudes.
Oh, you can't play with them.
No. I literally just want to try. I can still dunk barely.
Okay,
Try
dunk
out
on
there.
me.
Okay, but I just want to stand there like Oscar, just to put his hands up.
You want the 7-footer that's here now.
Okay, yeah. I want to say, didn't he graduate high school early?
Yeah, he played.
He played a hell of a game.
Yeah, he played well.
Played really well.
He had like 3
Rebounded
blocks.
like a son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Dude. That was great.
we got a lot to work on with him. He's got a. We'll get into the details of that later. But that was a good first outing. He's long, athletic. Got a big upside.
We'll finish it with this. So obviously we said that most of those guys are going to be there for one semester and that's it, right? So, everybody would park behind cats there for tutoring, for classes, and just I think I end up having I'll probably hold the record.
For tickets?
For tickets.
Oh, I got plenty.
Dude, no. I'm talking like $3-4 grand.
That's pretty obnoxious.
$3-4 grand worth. Because I refused to walk to class.
That's pretty outrageous.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Anyways, so we would park back there, and obviously you guys had your own parking place there, like right down in there, right beside the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And we would see guys come out, from shoot around, from class or whatever, and they get in their car and they drive off. We would have a bet. Some of the guys that I played football with were like, "What kind of car do you think he's going to be driving
at the end of the year?"
At the end of this semester.
Yeah.
What kind of car do you think he's going to be driving? And we were sitting there like, BMW, yada, yada, yada. I can't remember who it was. And I don't want to say their name because it could be completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the players, it was during Bam and De'Aaron Fox's year. So I had class with Bam and De'Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Cool motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Those dudes are awesome.
Yeah.
And we had the bet of like what kind of car do you think he's going to be driving? And one guy said a McLaren. One guy said
not a McLaren.
Yeah, I know. They said a McLaren. One guy said a Corvette. I was like, I'm gonna go with a decked out BMW.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be damned. Literally, right after when's the basketball season end? Like March.
I mean, hopefully April, but usually March.
So this is during spring ball,
mm-hmm.
and we're coming back from class, and that guy, can't remember his name, can't remember which one it was, gets in a freaking tricked out BMW. I won $500 off that.
There you go. Nice. So there's this is completely legal. That the cars were. Now it doesn't matter because of the NIL. But when guys would declare for the draft after we lose in the tournament, or obviously none of those teams won the championship, but after we'd lose in the tournament in March or April, there's a gentleman in Louisville. He does all the derby stuff. Still have a great relationship with him. He's awesome. He owns Bluegrass Motorsports, and they give vehicles on loan to guys after they've declared for the draft to drive until they are drafted, and
money.
Then the kind of the relationship is they come back and they're a customer of his afterwards. So he hooks them up, lets them,
Let's say if they don't pan out, do they have to get the car back?
They give the car back. He gives them a loaner to drive until they get drafted, and then they buy something.
Gotcha. Well,
usually.
Hopefully by the end of this year, we have like 4 or 5 of those dudes.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
Hoping all 4.
But now they got NIL deals, and it's completely legal for them to do it and pay for them to advertise for them. So most of those guys have some pretty nasty vehicles now already.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that I really like, and I know we've had we're joke about football versus basketball and everything, but at the end of the day, I really hope that Cal and the boys have
they
need a great season.
They need a great season. Stoops needs to end it strong, but what we really need to do is make sure that relationship is in a cohesive
Justice League, man. I'm telling you, got to come together. Lex Luthor's coming to town, boy.
And let's be clear, they love each other. They respect the hell out of each other.
Dude, I was about to say, I've been on.
They're trying to do what's best for their program.
I've been on trips with Stoops with Cal together. Like they're just 2 Italians.
They're literally. They both are trying to do what's best for their guys, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, cohesively, I think the Kentucky athletic department is going to just be much more powerful with them side by side.
Let's hope it continues. Thank you for watching this episode of Fully Unscripted. See y'all next week. Hopefully.